Hello everybody, this is CryptoMark, of course. Today we will talk about whether it is worth buying Bitcoin now, how not to get fooled in the market, and where is this correction comes from. What has happened on the market in recent days, most of you probably know, such a strong candle from almost $53,000 to 42 a few days ago. So, it was definitely not a natural decline, it was a kind of hoax and a manipulation by people who had this Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and more. We have been consolidating for a dozen or so hours at the level of $45,000 to $47,000. Which way it will go, hard to say. I suppose this is another purchase opportunity before what awaits us at the end of this year in months such as October, November and December. I have to remind you that September is almost always, a month of corrections. Let me show you a chart. In September, in the last 8 years, 7 years have been very negative. It was just as bad a month as March, and there are no worse months in historical years in this market, so we could have expected. You have to bear in mind that this may not be the end. It could be such a drop, it could be 42 or 43, and people think we are coming back and suddenly we are going to 40 or something. A very likely scenario, and you have to be prepared for such a possibility and do not be scared of it, because it is so, especially new people may be surprised, but you know, cryptocurrencies can be capricious and such things can happen that if you do not have to experience and think that only you can profit in this market, then you will can't. Exactly like people who place on the leverage. Listen, some leverage of times 2 or 3 times maybe is acceptable, but not without reason. Binance has problems because in Europe future leverage is to be blocked, I think. Look what happened yesterday and the day before yesterday. In one day more than $3 billion just passed out, has been liquidated on leverage. This is not money that has been partially lost, it's liquidation, there is none, we lost it all and it's irrecoverable. The exchanges are making money on it, and people who often stack cryptocurrencies or borrowing them for leverage by minor investors because they don't. This is a game for whales. Only for people who like speculation, in some way gambling, I would advise you to stay away from it. Bitcoin drops the day after El Salvador announced that it would be Bitcoin legal tender. It did, and I think for good reason. Some elite or other people who actually have the approach and the ability to manipulate the market, manage more money in cryptocurrencies, may have wanted to show others that it's not that fast yet. It can be so good that countries are buying Bitcoin. See, one day, 2 hours and 20% cheaper Bitcoin. It could have been a demonstration that is indeed not that safe and worth it. It is at the level we are at this stage of adoption, because it may happen with it. And the next fine news is the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, has an open mind, and I have followed his entries on Twitter and see how good it turned out to be marketing. Here's a massive attack, and here he writes buying the dip, and he added 150 new bitcoins to his portfolio, and he says that promises to be the end of the promotion. I'm crying here with a smile, of course. He says that El Salvador has 550 bitcoins, not 200 as it was said at the beginning, so he will still take advantage of this haul, and people like it very much. Tens of thousands of likes under his tweets, and a really solid dose of entertainment and hope for what the next weeks on this market will bring to us. Panama followed the blow and wants to take into action Bitcoin Ethereum in its new cryptocurrency law, as well as legal tender similar to, of course, El Salvador, from a news that I said you before. I think that those smaller countries where they do not live, a lot of people in some way can start a different era of money and show the greater step by step that is possible, and some small financial reserves are worth investing in this Bitcoin. Exactly. It does not look good on the market today or yesterday. This correction will last for some time. Nothing happens right away, as for 6 weeks there were increases that were quite healthy, because they recorded such 5, 8 or 10% corrections as a few days. It was good, yeah? And when it goes down, there is of course fear and panic, but it's not that bad, as I will show you in the next slides. Let's before that check out the world cryptocurrency market capitalization. Like you see, there is a little return in the last few hours, but if we gonna click the all charts in history, we're gonna see we are almost on the double top right now. The same situation was in the 2014, a few years ago, on the first big Bitcoin adoption, when from $16 billion we just dropped to 7.5, so it was more than 50%, like in May a few months ago, and then we just came back to the levels of 13 billion of dollars, and after that we get a big correction and the bear market ahead of us. So I hope that this cycle will be a little bit different, because I would like to show you guys in the next months new cryptocurrencies which are great to invest in and new possibilities to just make your life better on this market. Exactly. So yeah, we are going in the right direction, I think. We broke through what happened, like I said, in 2013. There was a double top then, and the capitalization was like 150 times less than now. A fall, then a rebound is very similar to what happened in June, of course, but I hope it will not end there, because we have already leveled this level. We rised, and maybe we will fly the other way this time. Of course, nothing's certain. History likes to repeat itself, but it also likes to make numbers for us and not to do what it used to be, so that people would not be influenced by the past too much. But it is quite complicated, and the fact that there were 2 or 3 in the past a bit larger does not mean that this time it will be the same. Everyone has to make decision for themselves, of course, like every time. I'm repeating this phrase because you guys remember that this is your money, you earn it very hard, you are going to work every day, and you just can't play on leverage because your emotion would like to do that. If you need some dopamine, just go for a bike, for a walk, or just flew away from the mountain with a nice parachute, but do not do anything like that. Do not play on the leverage anymore. Alright, so on the side, on the mixed market, which does not mean that it's surprisingly bad with such a collapse and it's neutral, the fear and greed index, the chart that greed and fear in the market shows us, is more or less in the middle of the state culmination, because in the next day too it will turn out whether we are slowly returning to the values that were before, or whether we are improving these corrections and falling even lower. In my opinion, it's 50-50. Both scenarios can happen. Neither will, at least for me, tragic, because when we grow, it's fun, I won't buy more, and when we fall, I have stable coins ready to buy these cryptocurrencies, for sure. The Bitcoin Rainbow price chart, you've probably seen it several times in various movies. It is a kind of algorithm that shows the timelines and prices of Bitcoin and how to some extent and in certain dates it should move, and the levels at which it is worth selling the Bitcoins within a given time, a given date, and accumulate and buy as much as possible. We are at the moment of holding, so according to the chart, it is not worth doing anything. Hold off with a decision and continue what is happening, what we have done well in the past. Keeping your cryptocurrencies in the portfolio without doing too much. If it should turn out to be that in the next 3-4 months, these cryptocurrencies will really grow, and only then we will enter the bear market. Bitcoin may wander around 80 or 1000 or 100,000 of dollars. So in my opinion, these are very likely values, especially taking into account such an upward scenario. But like I told you in the previous movies, be aware, because these do not have to happen the third time in a row. So yeah, in 2014 it was correct. At 2018 it was correct also. Like you see, there was maximum bubble territory and Bitcoin was on the $20,000 level, and in 2014 it was almost 1,000. It's over the chart over here, over the red line, so it's not very precise. We can just stop over here, and Bitcoin can just drop from 70 or 80,000 of dollars even lower to these levels in the next few months or few years. So it's gonna be a great proposition for you and me to buy the cryptocurrencies and just accumulate it more. So guys, if you do not have your cryptocurrencies on the Binance exchange yet, you can start buying them. Link is in the description under this video and of course in the pinned comment. So let me know if you like movies of this type, if that's well done for you, like a steak. And yeah, see you guys in the next movie. Goodbye.